The death penalty in America should be abolished. It's an ineffective way to control crime, which should be the main goal of the justice system.
The current U.S. racial demographic is 64% white, 13% black, 16% Hispanic, and 7% other. When we compare that to the current death row inmate racial demographic, there is clearly an issue, as 41.6% of death row inmates are black. Using the FBI's crime in the U.S. data, white offenders commit about 59% of all violent crimes in the U.S. Black offenders commit about 37% of all violent crimes in the U.S., even though this is roughly 3 times the amount they theoretically should be based on racial proportions of the U.S. Further studies have shown this disparity is due to several socioeconomic factors, rather than race. African Americans are more likely to be poor and live in urban areas, both of which mean a person is far more likely to commit violent crimes. Since October 2002, only 12 white defendants who were convicted of murdering a black victim have been executed. 178 black defendants have been executed since then who were convicted of murdering a white victim. On dentalpenalty.org, it says, a bias towards white victim cases has been found in almost all of the sophisticated studies exploring this area over many years. These studies typically control for other variables in the cases studied, such as the number of victims or brutality of the crime, and still found that defendants were more likely to be sentenced to death if they killed a white person.
Is the severity of the punishment justified? Capital punishment is irreversible. What if they are deemed innocent? The Eighth Amendment says that there can be no cruel or unusual punishments. The 14th Amendment states that our life, liberty, or property cannot be taken away from us. The 8th and 14th Amendment together should deem the death penalty unconstitutional, and it was in 1972 in the Furman versus Georgia case. The judges saw the results of the death penalty as harsh, freakish, and arbitrary. They reversed the result back in 1976, citing that the death penalty does not invariably break the Constitution, but it didn't provide any further arguments as to why. The effectiveness of the death penalty is very questionable. The death penalty, based on a poll of police chiefs nationally, is deemed the least effective way of controlling crime, with only 1% giving it high priority. The cost is more than life in prison due to the length of the appeals process. For example, in California's prison system, it costs $137 million per year. Without the death penalty, this would only be $11.2 million, according to Amnesty USA. This diverts resources away from more important things, such as drug crimes, domestic violence, and child abuse. Around 1,500 convicts have been sentenced to death since the death penalty was implemented. 156 of those convicts, as of October 2015, have been proven innocent. This is about a 10% failure rate, which is extremely high. This wouldn't even be tolerated in something of much lesser importance, such as a factory line. So why should we tolerate it when considering the sanctity of life? Many crimes are also committed by mentally ill or badly emotionally damaged people when they are given the death sentence. A restriction on the death penalty states it is not constitutional to inflict the death penalty on a severely mentally ill person, and that should extend to all those with conditions that impair mental function. There is also a direct intent to kill convicts, so if proven innocent, who takes responsibility? There are too many individuals and groups involved in the process of conviction, so it is difficult to assign responsibility to any one person or group. Many executions have also been decided based off of eyewitness testimony, which, as many studies have shown, is very unreliable.
Murder is wrong. That is a social convention that society as a whole has agreed upon for thousands of years. Yes, what the perpetrators did was illegal, immoral, and so very wrong. But how is killing them any different, other than it being government sanctioned? It's not in self-defense, and it's not in war, and no other justifications, as we sometimes provide for killings, others are clearly evident. The death penalty doesn't change anything. The people killed are gone forever, but that doesn't make up for what they did or provide restitution to the families. The death penalty is just revenge. In the end, it doesn't bring back the victims of the criminals punished. As Jonas Jonasson said, revenge is not a good thing. Revenge is like politics. One thing always leads to another until bad has become worse and worse has become worst. The death penalty has been shown to be racially biased, overly severe, the least effective deterrent, and extremely cost ineffective. These alone should be enough to exclude it as a punishment in the US. Furthermore, the final reason for retaining the death penalty is revenge, and revenge is not an idea we want to support in our society.